The desert was quiet. Too quiet for a war zone. Morning light spilled over broken walls. Dust floated like smoke that forgot how to burn. Master Chief Walker slowed his steps, boots sinking into cold sand. His radio crackled once, then went dead. That was the first wrong thing. He lifted his fist. The team froze behind him. Breathing stopped. Hearts didn't. Walker tasted metal, not blood. Memory. A single shot cut the air. Sharp. Clean. Perfect. Not close. Not loud. Surgical. The round hit stone inches from Walker's head. Rock exploded into his cheek. He didn't flinch. Because fear didn't explain this shot. Skill did. And there was only one man alive who shot like that. Walker whispered. That's impossible. His sniper was dead. Buried. Confirmed. The team waited for orders. Eyes wide. Sweat rolling under body armor. Another shot rang out. Closer this time. The echo told Walker everything. Wind direction. Elevation. Intent. The shooter wasn't warning them. He was measuring them. Walker's throat tightened. His pulse thumped at his ears. This wasn't an ambush. It was a conversation. A voice came through the radio. Low. Familiar. Master Chief. Walker's hands trembled. Just once. The voice carried no anger. That scared him more. You taught me patience. Walker swallowed. The desert smelled like hot iron. You're dead, Walker said. A soft chuckle answered. Dead men don't miss. Walker remembered the training range. The long hours. The silence between shots. He remembered signing the report. Mission complete. Target neutralized. He remembered not looking at the body. Another shot hit closer. Too close. The team shifted nervously. One man whispered a prayer. Walker raised his rifle slowly. Not to aim. To feel steady. Why are you doing this? He asked. Wind brushed across his face. Warm. Dry. Because you pulled the trigger first, the voice said. Walker's chest burned. Guilt crawled up his spine. That order came from above, Walker said. Silence. Then, I know. That was worse than anger. A shadow moved on the ridge. Too fast for anyone but Walker to see. He knew that movement. That rhythm. The team didn't understand why Walker lowered his weapon. Why his jaw clenched. Another shot cracked. This one wasn't aimed at Walker. It struck the ground between his men. A message. Walker spoke quietly. Stand down, he told them. They stared at him like he'd lost his mind. Walker's finger hovered near the trigger. Sweat dripped into his eyes. The radio hissed again. You have 30 seconds, the voice said. To remember who you are. Walker closed his eyes. The desert held its breath. Walker opened his eyes. The ridge was empty again. Like it had never been touched. 30 seconds felt shorter than a breath. He remembered a younger man, kneeling in sand, waiting for permission to fire. I trusted you, the voice said. Walker's jaw tightened. His gloves creaked as his fists closed. You were compromised, Walker said. You were a risk. A distant laugh echoed off stone. Dry. Controlled. A risk to who? The team shifted behind him. Confusion turning into fear. Walker felt their eyes on his back. He didn't turn. Another memory surfaced. Night vision. A target through glass. A hesitation. 1 second too long. Say it, the voice demanded. Walker's chest rose slowly. Then fell. I signed the order, he said. The wind picked up. Sand whispered across metal. I didn't ask who pulled the trigger, the voice replied. I asked who fired the first shot. Walker's hands went cold. The radio clicked. Static screamed. A shadow appeared again. Closer now. Too close. Walker realized something then. The sniper wasn't hunting the team. He was hunting a choice. The Master Chief took one step forward. Alone. Behind him, a safety clicked off. In front of him, the scope glinted in the sun. And somewhere in the silence, a finger began to squeeze. The sound was almost gentle. Metal brushing metal. Walker didn't move. The scope shimmered. Heat waves bending the glass. He could feel the weight of the decision. Heavier than armor. "Call them back," the voice said. Walker's lips parted. Air scraped his throat. "That's not my call," he answered. A pause in the wind. Even the sand seemed to listen. "You always say that," the voice replied. Walker smelled oil and dust. The same smell from 100 missions. He remembered a hand on his shoulder. Years ago. A promise made quietly. "I made you who you are," the voice said. Walker nodded once. No one could see it. "And I buried you," Walker replied. The ridge shifted again. This time closer still. Impossible distance. Impossible angle. One of Walker's men inhaled sharply. Fear leaking through discipline. Walker raised his hand. Not a command. A warning. "If you fire," Walker said, "there's no coming back." A low breath crackled through the radio. There never was. Walker's heartbeat slowed. That terrified him. He realized then. The sniper wasn't aiming center mass. He was aiming for the radio. To cut Walker off. To leave him alone with the truth. Walker stepped forward again. Sand crunching loud in the silence. "Look at me," Walker said. For the first time, the scope didn't move. The sun climbed higher. Sweat ran down Walker's spine. Somewhere far away. A third shot was chambered. Not fired. Yet. Walker felt the sound before he heard it. A round sliding into place. The click echoed inside his skull. He exhaled slowly. Forced calm into his bones. "You won't do it," Walker said. The desert answered with silence. "I already did," the voice replied. Walker's stomach dropped. He scanned his team without turning his head. One man clutching his rifle too tight. Another blinking sweat from his eyes. All of them alive. For now. "What do you want?" Walker asked. The wind shifted again, carrying the smell of burned powder. "Truth," the voice said. Walker's jaw flexed. Muscles aching from years of holding lines. "You want forgiveness," Walker said. A sharp breath over the radio. "No," the voice answered. "I want accountability." Walker's chest tightened. A memory surged forward. A dark room. A quiet briefing. No names spoken. Just a photo. "Asset turned liability," a voice had said. Walker blinked hard. "You never asked why I hesitated," the sniper said. The ridge flickered again. Closer than logic allowed. Walker's pulse pounded. "Why?" he asked. Because for the first time, he needed the answer. "Because the target wasn't armed," the voice said. The words landed heavy. Like a round through the chest. Walker's breath caught. "That wasn't in the report," Walker whispered. "I know," the voice replied. Behind Walker. Someone shifted their stance. A boot scraped stone. Walker's hand snapped up. Too late. The scope twitched. Just a fraction. Enough. Walker realized then. The sniper had never been aiming at him. He was watching the man behind him. And the finger on the trigger was already tightening. Walker shouted, "Don't move!" The warning cut the air too late. The boot scraped again. Fear making noise. The scope steadied. Breath controlled. Heartbeat erased. "No," Walker said. Soft. Personal. The man behind him froze. Too slow. Walker felt the moment stretch. Like glass before it breaks. "This isn't his sin," Walker said. Silence answered. Then the voice returned. Cold now. Focused. "Neither was mine." Walker stepped sideways. Breaking doctrine. Breaking rules. A calculated mistake. The scope followed him. Patient. Walker raised his rifle. Not to fire. To block the line. Sweat burned his eyes. His arm shook. "You trained me better than this," Walker said. A breath through the radio. Almost regret. "I trained you to live with it." The ridge flashed. Just a glint. Walker felt the trigger wall under his finger. The last ounce of pressure. Behind him. The man whispered. "I didn't know." The wind surged. Sand lifted. Walker made his choice. And at the exact same instant, two fingers tightened. On two different triggers. The world narrowed. Sound folded inward. Walker felt the rifle buck. Or thought he did. A crack split the air. Sharp enough to hurt. Another followed. Too close to separate. Dust burst between them. Stone screamed. Walker tasted grit and copper. Someone yelled his name. He didn't know who. His ears rang. High and thin. The man behind him dropped to a knee. Breathing hard. Alive. For now. Walker's shoulder burned. Not pain. Heat. Around it kissed him. Not taken him. A message. The radio came alive again. Static wrapped around a steadied breath. "You still block shots," the voice said. Walker swallowed. His throat felt raw. "You still pull away," Walker replied. A pause. Heavy. "Look at your hand," the voice said. Walker glanced down. His finger was still on the trigger. Not pulled. Not released. His heart slammed once. Behind the ridge. Something shifted. Not retreat. Reposition. Walker raised his head slowly. "Walk away," he said. The reply came softer now. Closer. "I already did." A final click echoed through the silence. Not from the ridge. From somewhere much nearer. Walker's eyes snapped forward. Too late to trace the sound. Too close to ignore it. His team stiffened. Training fighting panic. That click wasn't precision. It was nervous. A different kind of danger. "Easy," Walker said. Not loud. Not calm. Human. He turned slowly. One of his men stood half a step out of line. Rifle raised. Hand shaking. Young. Good record. Bad moment. "Stand down," Walker ordered. The man swallowed. Adam's apple jumping. "He's playing us," the man said. Voice cracking. Walker smelled fear. Sharp. Sweeter than sweat. "So are you," Walker replied. The radio whispered again. Almost amused. "Still cleaning up messes," the sniper said. Walker didn't look toward the ridge. His eyes stayed locked on his man. "Lower it," Walker said. The finger trembled. The ridge stayed silent. Watching. Measuring. Walker felt trapped between two triggers. One trained by him. One created by him. "Breathe," Walker said. The man's chest heaved. A bead of sweat fell onto the trigger guard. The radio crackled softly. "Choose carefully," the voice said. Walker felt the weight settle again. Heavier than before. Because now, someone was going to fire. The only question left was, who would be blamed? When the shot finally came, Walker stepped closer. Slow enough to feel every grain of sand. "Eyes on me," he said. The young SEAL's pupils were blown wide. Adrenaline drowning training. "I can end this," the man said, convincing himself. Walker nodded once. "I know." The ridge stayed quiet. Too quiet again. The radio breathed. "He thinks he's protecting you," the sniper said. Walker didn't answer. He reached out, 2 fingers touching the rifle barrel. "Warm metal." "Put it down," Walker whispered. The man's jaw quivered. Behind them, a stone shifted on the ridge. Just enough. Walker felt it in his spine. "Clock's almost out," the voice said. Walker closed his eyes for half a second. He saw every mission, every order, every name he never said out loud. When he opened them, the rifle in front of him dipped slightly. Hope sparked. Then another click echoed. Not a weapon being readied. A safety being released. Walker's breath stopped. The desert leaned in. And someone, somewhere in the dust and heat, made the final decision. Before Walker could speak again, the shot didn't sound like a shot at first. It sounded like the desert cracking open. Walker felt air move. Hard. Violent. Sand erupted between him and the young seal. Walker turned toward the road. Hands raised. Useless at this distance. "You fire," Walker said. "And it's on you." A breath over the radio. So was the last one. The engines grew louder. Walker's heart pounded. The scope shifted. Just a hair. Perfect alignment. Walker whispered, "Don't make me choose again." The reply came calm. "I already did." And the trigger began to move. Walker broke into a run. Sand tearing at his boots. "Stop the convoy!" he shouted into the radio. Static screamed back. The engines kept coming. Closer now. The scope settled. No shake. No doubt. Walker felt time tear loose. He dropped to a knee. Raised his rifle toward nothing he could see. A useless angle. A desperate habit. "You pull that trigger," Walker said. "And you prove nothing." The wind carried his words away. The voice returned. Quiet. Almost kind. "I'm not proving anything." Walker's chest tightened. "I'm asking you to live with it." The convoy crested the rise. Dust plumes blooming behind it. A child's laugh floated faintly from an open truck bed. Walker froze. The scope tracked smoothly. Adjusted for speed. Walker whispered a name. Not a prayer. A confession. His finger touched the trigger. Behind him, his team held their breath. Ahead of him, the engines roared louder. Somewhere unseen, a final breath was drawn. And the desert waited. To learn. Who would own the shot? That hadn't been fired. Yet. Walker lowered his rifle. Not in surrender. In certainty. "Abort," he said into the radio. Voice steady. Final. This time, the static broke. A reply cut through. Sharp. Immediate. "Convoy halting." Engines groaned. Dust settled. Silence rushed back in. The scope didn't fire. Seconds passed. Heavy ones. Then the radio breathed again. "You finally changed the outcome," the voice said. Walker closed his eyes. Pain and relief colliding in his chest. "I should have done it before," Walker replied. A pause. Long enough to mean goodbye. "Live with it," the sniper said. A faint sound followed. Metal touching stone. Not a shot. A rifle being set down. Walker opened his eyes. The ridge was empty. For the last time, the desert exhaled. Walker stood still, letting the moment pass through him. He turned to his team. Alive. Shaken. Whole. As the sun climbed higher, Walker knew the truth would follow him home. Some shots echo forever. Others end wars quietly. And this time, no one had to die. For the lesson to finally land.